Welcome to episode 6 of the Joya Life podcast, where we're joined today by Jon, who runs the Alley Catz dance studio in Melbourne, which is a rock and roll and swing dance studio that runs dance classes and these huge 400-500 people events on the weekends where people can practice their dancing, enjoy socializing, and connect with one another on a level that's so different. And the really surprising thing that we'll get to learn later is about how good this is for health and exercise. So we'll get into that later. Welcome, Jon. We'll jump into things straight away. Jon Hannon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You run is it a swing dance class?
Yeah, we do a combination of rock and roll and swing. They're both very closely combined.
So rock and roll, I kind of understand. Can you explain what is swing dancing for those that don't know?
Certainly. So rock and roll is more of your 50s and 60s, like Elvis and Buddy Holly and that kind of stuff. Whereas swing is a little bit earlier, kind of originates almost in the 20s, but more kind of 30s and 40s music. So big band music, kind of wartime stuff. Swing is more of your 30s and 40s style music, and the dancing is just done to that, of course. And then rock and roll is more of your 50s and 60s, where it's got a little bit more crazy.
Which is the one where they throw people under the legs and stuff?
Yeah, mainly swing dancing. Swing dancing has a lot of that acrobatic kind of stuff. Rock and roll has a little bit, but rock and roll was a bit less in the acrobatic side of things to what the swing dancing was.
Got you. You know how TikTok knows you better than anyone, right?
Absolutely, yep.
Now, on TikTok, I see lots of comedy, I see lots of music, and I also see quite a lot of dancing. So I do see quite a lot of the different moves that people are making, because I love music and I love dance, but I particularly love what you're doing at the moment, because you're not just running dance classes, are you?
Not at all. No. I think I said last night to one of my students, said people come for the dancing, but they stay for the smiles, because I firmly believe we're in the smile business. The main thing that we try and encourage in our classes is people to just get out and have a good time. We're all on the same level when we're on the dance floor, and you get people from all walks of life who would generally maybe not interact with each other in the normal world. They move in kind of different paths, but on the dance floor, everyone comes together and we're all just there for the same thing.
But you also run like dance events, don't you? Like
we do, yeah. Every fortnight we have a big social dance where we have bands from Victoria mainly, but we also get bands in from interstate and sometimes even from overseas. We import some bands in from overseas. We had a
really wow. So you sometimes get bands from overseas.
Yeah.
They're in the country on a holiday, and you say come along, or you book them from overseas.
Yeah, it just started where bands would come over that be anchored by a major festival that kind of covered all their main importation costs, and then I would get a side gig. But we've kind of grown now to a level where we can bring bands in ourselves. So the last band we brought over from the UK, we brought them over ourselves. We did a string of shows in, we did Victoria, New South Wales, Sydney, and Western Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we had 12 shows.
But you're predominantly in Victoria, aren't you?
We are, yeah, but we have contacts in other states that run similar kind of things, and then
that's amazing.
Did a bit of work for us over there, so it worked out really well.
The great thing about this, and this is in the context of what we're doing in Joya Life, is you're doing a job that you love. You know, just hearing you talk about it, your face is lit up. It's brilliant. So you're doing a job that you love, which is great for you. And now, the job itself is obviously you're teaching people to dance.
Yeah.
But then you're running events, which makes it now a social thing. So now it's like a recreation thing where people can come along, and then they're building connections with their own. You know, they're finding a sort of their own community.
Absolutely, yeah.
And do you find it's the same people that show up, you know, week after week, event after event, or is it blow-ins and a mixture?
Yeah, good question. It's a really good combination of both. There's a real core group who kind of make rock and roll dancing their their whole and soul social life. Whereas, there's some, because I teach in 4 suburbs around Melbourne,
Yeah.
kind of the 4 corners of Melbourne. And there's plenty of people that come 4 nights a week. They just travel around and they follow me all around Melbourne.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Some people I see them more than I see my beautiful wife. And so there's certainly a core group who are really addicted, for lack of a better word. And then there's always a very transient portion as well, where people kind of come and go. I mean, it's really great for someone who may have had maybe a recent separation, or maybe the kids have moved out, and both husband and wife want to experience something new and something different as a couple. And so there's always people that are coming into the scene for the first time. And, a lot of them stick around, and some of them kind of pass through for a couple of months and move on to something else. There's a nice kind of combination of a real strong original core group, and there's always fresh faces. Every single night of the week, we have people coming to our class for the very first time. Every single class, there's at least one person there.
Look, I can relate a little bit, because I'm in the Sydney karaoke scene. Most of the hosts know me. Most of the people know me. I have gone through phases where I've gone to karaoke 6 nights a week. I'm currently down to just 1 or maybe 2, but you just get to know people, and it can be a bit intimidating for someone kind of coming in when it seems like other people kind of know everyone else and you're the one coming in and you don't know anyone. So is it a bit like that sometimes when people first come into the classes?
Yeah. Yep, the barriers to entry, to use an economic term.
And how? I guess. What do you? I mean, it's it's quite daunting, isn't it? Really?
For sure. I mean, we always say to people that the hardest dance class you ever do is your first one, because when you walk into a room, you're not familiar with the room and the environment and the lighting and the people and the surroundings. Everything is new, and for some people that's really new and exciting, but for the majority of people that's very new and very daunting.
How do you partner people up? I mean, how does that work?
That's a good thing about the way that we teach. We teach in a progressive circle, where we have the guys on the inside of the circle and the girls on the outside of the circle, and the girls change partners when we're dancing to a song, it's every 15, 20 seconds. When I'm teaching, I move people on at least every minute. So you're never with someone for more than 60 or maybe 90 seconds if I'm yabbering on a little bit. But it's a very, very fast-paced class. For
someone that's newly single, it's like speed dating.
Exactly right, but it's even better because you get to hold the person that you're with, and sometimes when you're holding someone and talking to them, for a minute or 2, you can very quickly pick up on if there's a connection there or not.
Yeah.
It kind of is a bit like that. But the good thing is we kind of weed out the people that are there, just to pick up, for like a better word. Yeah, because the class is fairly fast paced. You really do need to be able to focus on dancing for a little bit to be able to keep up.
Fair enough. Yeah. I guess it's funny. I never think about that sort of. It's there, but there's always going to be some people that predatory nature that are just kind of like, oh, I'll go here and see if I can hit on as many people as I can, and the old philosophy that there was always one guy, back in the day when we used to go to nightclubs, there's always one guy that would literally ask out every girl in the place.
Playing the numbers game.
Just playing the numbers game. Most people would go, you sort of check people out and you maybe see if you can have a dance with them and maybe whatever. But there was always that one guy, didn't give a rat's ass, just ask. So they're the sort of people, I guess, that wouldn't really make other people at the studio feel comfortable.
No. I mean, we've been doing this now for 21 years. We had our 20th birthday last year.
Wow. That's incredible.
And we can run events with 400 or 500 people, and we never have any security guards because we simply don't need them. For many years, I hired security companies, and they just sat there watching the bands, and some of them even got up and had a dance. And I'm thinking, not too sure whether we really need to be paying you for being here. So,
is there an age thing though? I'm wondering. What's your demographic?
So the majority of our students, I'd say 90% of our community would be kind of the baby boomer age range. So probably now, maybe between 60 and 80.
Older than me then.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't want to suggest anything about your age, Max, but I'd say you'd be in your mid 30s, late 30s. Just in the male.
Yeah. I turned 58 10 days ago.
Oh, really?
Eight,
Congratulations.
yeah, 8 days ago. Yeah, 58. So, but I'm not a baby boomer. I'm I'm the beginning of Gen X, so in the early years of Gen X. The baby boomers are the next group older than me. I'm in the generation that got left alone and raise yourself. You must be in Gen X too, though. What age are you?
45.
45. There we go. So I think you're an earlier Gen Xer.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, or later Gen Xer, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, a younger one. You're a younger one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go into different generations.
Yeah, so the majority are probably 60 to 80, but we're seeing now a really good fresh batch of younger people coming through. I mean, we're never going to have a bunch of 20-year-olds doing it because it's kind of not the music that really entices them, because we do dance to primarily 50s and 60s rock and roll music. I always do like a heap of more modern songs in there just to kind of keep it different. But it traditionally is something that appeals to people just a little bit older.
An example of a more modern song that you'd play, just so I can try and get the song in my head.
Sure, yeah. So I like the song by it's called a bar song, Tipsy by.
Oh, Tipsy, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We danced to that last night, and even kind of more 70s and 80s stuff. We danced to a lot of Paul Kelly stuff like "Dumb Things" and "To Her Door."
Oh,
Rock and roll music by Mental as Anything, and then even like X's and O's. X's and O's.
In the karaoke circle, that's Evelyn's song. She sings X's and O's.
That's Evelyn. Okay, yeah. So we dance to Evelyn's song sometimes.
I don't know who actually sings it, but I actually love it when she sings that song. It's a good one. I love dancing. I love dancing. I don't know how to dance at all. In fact, I probably should try and find some classes somewhere because I'm of that age but it's one of those things you kind of feel like you need a bit of time to kind of learn how to do it. And it's on my radar of something I could probably need to do. But I've got such a full life. It's like, where do I fit that in? Which night of the week can I fit that in? And also see clients after work and stuff like that. But but you're saying you're seeing more younger people now. Is that, when you say younger, what sort of age group are we talking about that are coming in now?
Yeah, kind of 40, 50. For many years, I was always the youngest person in the room, but I don't know whether it's the side of me getting older or the community getting younger. But no, there's certainly a real fresh batch of 40, 50-year-olds coming through. And a lot of them are not just single people coming out trying to meet other people. They're husband and wives where the kids have maybe, just got to the age where they can leave them at home or, so they can get out and do something. Because it's kind of funny. A lot of people start rock and roll dancing because they think, it's a partner dance. It's something we can come along and do as a couple and spend a night out together. And they come to my class and they'll dance with each other for some total of about 6 minutes. But they're both doing something that they're enjoying together, but as part of a group. And so many people have made rock and roll dancing their social life. Because there's, as I said, 3 or 4 classes a week. There's other people running classes here in Melbourne, and every Friday and Saturday night there'd be a myriad of different events you can go to with different bands and DJs playing. And the best thing about rock and roll dancing is it's a social dance in the way that you're holding someone and you're dancing with them, but it's not fully choreographed like if you go to a ballroom dance, everyone's doing the same thing in a big circle over and over. It's choreographed, whereas rock and roll is social and freestyle in the way that every single dance you have with someone is different to any other dance you've had with anyone ever before. So that's in a social sense. When you're dancing to a band, you just grab someone and say, let's have a dance, and the guy leads and the girl follows, and who knows what moves are going to do in what order. So it's a very dynamic thing as well.
In the live events, because I really love the live events, because I think that's such a good thing for if you wanted to sample it and kind of watch what's going on. But does it kind of almost force people to actually pick a partner and to actually or get picked?
Yeah,
or do you still get a lot of wallflowers?
Yeah, we still get a few wallflowers, but the main focus of our events is, of course, dancing. We always have more dance floor space than seating space. That's a little industry trick for whether or not a venue is set up for dancing. If there's more dance floor space than seating space, then the dancers will really enjoy it and have plenty of room. If the dance floor space is less than the seating space, then it's going to be squishy on the dance floor. But anyway, so we're all about dancing. So people that come along for the music do enjoy the music, but pretty quickly they jump up on the floor and they have a dance, because it's kind of gone in the days where the gentleman had to ask the lady to dance. Now everyone just asks everyone. It's a very equal opportunity.
Despite the age group that you've got, they're still going, no, I'm going to ask a dude to dance, and that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And even more so if they've been coming to our classes, because when you're in the class, you dance with everyone 50 times in a night. So you've already had to dance with someone, so you've kind of broken that ice already. Yeah,
that's really good. But you must get some people that are coming to the dances for the first time. Yeah. Do they then become, want to come to the classes and learn to do it properly, or is it kind of a loop for you?
Yeah. That a lot of the feed for the classes are people who have come to the dances for the music and for the band, thinking it's just a night out and have a drink and hear a band, and they see the dance floor jumping all night and people having a ball, and they soon feed into the classes from there. And every venue that we run our socials at, we also happen to have a class at that venue as well. So it's sort of like, oh, if you enjoy this, come along Tuesday night and learn how to do it.
Look, from a business perspective, it's a great business model, because you've got the sort of an event that pulls new punters in, and then you've got the classes that they can come to. But do people then, once they've they've learned the steps, they just they don't come to the classes anymore? Or, how many classes it take to kind of know what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, if people come for a month, 3 or 4 weeks, they're then more than ready to go out and social dance all night. That's a good thing about rock and roll. Once you learn your basic rhythm.
Wait, hang on a second. When you say all night, have they got the stamina? Well, there's a lot of physical activity going on there.
If someone wears a watch that counts their steps at a social night, you do 25, 30,000 steps easy without even
in
trying.
A night.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You're kidding me. 25. In how long? How long are these nights?
3 hours, 3.5 hours. Yeah, you'd be amazed, and it's exercise that you don't you're not sitting at a gym just on a treadmill. You're dancing to a live band. The lights are low, the music's on, and it's loud, and it's busy, and it's chaotic, and
there's another dance, another song, and another whatever.
Yeah, and
it's amazing.
You'd be surprised, and this will surprise people who are in the entertainment industry. We'll have a gig with 500 people there, and it's not worth me running a bar. I've tried many times. But
I'm sorry, what?
It's not worth me running a bar. People in the rock and roll scene, people in the dancing scene.
What do you just have, water fountains or something?
Yeah, everyone brings water, or we have a coffee van outside some of our gigs, and the coffee van does okay, but even then, people don't even stop to drink coffee.
Hang on, you're blowing my mind here. You don't run a bar at all.
Don't run a bar.
What happens when you try to run a bar?
It's a waste of time.
People just don't.
The average spend is about $3-4, whereas on an average spend on a Friday, Saturday night in any entertainment industry, you'd kind of shoot for $25 to $40 average spend per person. We're lucky, we'd be lucky to get one drink for every.
So you just put it in. You just put the ticket price in so that covers the band, and that's the night done.
Right. Yeah,
and then for people going, you've put how much does it typically cost for a night?
Between $20 and $25,
depending on the band, obviously.
Yeah.
So you put in $20 or $25. Bring a bottle of water with you, and that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
And you've got to.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh my God! You've got. I've just got to go around because we got the Joya wheel that we've shown you, and so at the top you got the career. So that's we've got our careers. For you, this is your career. For most people, they've got their day jobs and whatever. But then you've got your relationship, and your relationship. Obviously, if you're bringing a partner on a night out, you might dance a lot more with your partner. But even then, you might still swap around. Would that be fair?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're not at home, but so that takes you out of that. But certainly your health, if you're getting 25,000 steps in 3 hours, that's incredible. That's That's like a 20K run, an 18K run or something.
It's huge. Yeah. Yeah, it's huge.
That's your health. You've got your sense of belonging, because if you join that community, you know they're your tribe, they're your people.
Yeah.
And we all feel better about ourselves when we belong to a group.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, one of the things in today's society that's missing. A lot of people don't have their group. They don't know who they belong to.
Yeah.
And they feel very lonely and isolated. And then the relationship with their partner suffers, because that's your only connection with human beings, is with you.
Yeah, that's your people.
When you really need to be connecting with people outside of that. Sometimes it's work colleagues, but it depends on the work culture and whatever. But what you're doing is, if that's what you're into dancing and into that type of dancing, you've got your tribe now, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And recreation, well, if you can do it, how often do you run the events? Are they every week, every second week, twice a week?
Every fortnight. Yeah, every
fortnight.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So it's enough to know that you've got that sorted, but then you've got classes during the week. You can go to 1, 2, 3. What would be the average number of classes someone would go to?
As in during the week?
During the week, yeah, per week.
Yeah, the average person would do one night a week. They might come to the Tuesday night class or the Thursday night class. Most people would do one.
Yeah, brilliant. So now we've got the recreation covered. Holidays, do you take a holiday? You do take holidays, don't you? You take a break over, is it Christmas?
Me personally, yeah. I always take 6 weeks over Christmas. We don't stop any other time throughout the year. We found that being consistent is really important for our business.
So the business keeps running when you go away?
No, at Christmas we shut down.
And how long's the Christmas shutdown?
6 weeks.
6. So is that sort of mid-December to end of Jan?
That's right. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So that means you get a break. Everyone goes, okay, we're all on a holiday. We do our holidays. We come back, tell everyone, oh God, how have you been? Whatever.
Yeah.
And then of course the last thing.
The first class back is always chaotic. People are just shouting.
Shut up! We're trying to dance.
Yeah. Because every year I kind of worry: are people going to come back in January? Have they found something else to do on a Wednesday night? Are they into the latest show on a Wednesday night? But oftentimes the first class back can be the biggest night of the year. It's crazy. People are just chomping at the bit to get back.
Yeah, that's incredible. Do you have like a booking system so that you know who's coming, or is it
no,
just?
It's just. Yeah.
So how big can a class get?
150. Yeah.
And sorry, how many of you are there running that 150 person class? One?
Yeah. So I have a teacher. I have a teaching assistant with me. My wife used to be with me every night, but she's home with our beautiful kids at night time. So I have an assistant that I demonstrate the moves with, but they don't wear a microphone generally. So it's just me.
So you're just mic'd up and
yeah.
Mate, that's amazing. 150. Jesus Christ. I guess you've got the music. It's like, hey, music's playing.
That's right. Yeah. The music is a massive part of it, and with all of our classes, it's always loud and fast paced, and I keep the lights down and have some colourful lighting. I always make it an environment so you don't walk into a school hall with all the fluoro lights on. It's always It's always well lit, nice and cool. Nice and dark and nice and loud, and it's a party every night.
So it's a party. You're there in your. I'm here in my running shirt, and you're there in your beautiful, colourful shirt. Do people dress up? Do they? Is it? They obviously for the nights out, they're going to dress up to the nines. What about the classes? Do people kind of?
No, for the classes.
Tracky dacks and
people generally jeans, or in the hot weather, a lot of guys wear shorts, and I always comment on their knees. But generally people just wear kind of casual, like what you'd wear to if you just went to a friend's house for a barbie on a midweek kind of thing, jeans and a t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
So the class nights.
Do you get much sports? Do you get much active wear?
Sorry,
do you get much active wear?
A little bit. Normally, maybe for the first couple of times, then people kind of, shift back into the more casual wear.
Yeah, got you.
After that. But you do get hot and sweaty. A lot of people bring a change of clothes and like shirt, and they might change their shirt 2 or 3 times in a night because, you get a fair sweat going doing, yeah.
I've got one shirt. It's full. It's full. I need a fresh one.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very physical thing. A lot of people, like I said, that they kind of come for the idea of learning how to dance. But circling back to a question you had quite a while ago, you were saying once people have learnt the steps, do they stop coming? One of my older students, he just turned 96 last week,
Oh,
and
God love him.
he does the whole class. He's been with me from the very beginning. And there's plenty of people that keep on coming week after week because they're not really there to learn the next step or to make their dancing that technically better. They're coming because it's what they do. On a Tuesday night, they go dancing.
Yeah. And that's what it says. If you find your tribe and you're there, and the other thing is, it must be super helpful for you when you are trying to run a class of 150 if you've got a bunch of people that actually know what they're doing.
Well, that's the key to my business model, is that plenty of classes isolate their beginner dancers from their advanced. They go, okay, advanced are here at 9:00, beginners are here at 7:00, and never the twain shall meet. But, oh no, you're advanced are over here, your beginners are over here. So you've got a circle of 20 beginners,
and then none of them know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas my classes are fast paced and busy and active and fun and awesome. So all the advanced dancers come early for the beginners class. I encourage everyone to come to the beginners class. So the beginners, we might have 10 beginners and 50 advanced dancers. So, the average ability in the circle has risen. And all those advanced dancers are there helping the beginners come in and encouraging them and kind of leading them through.
And so even if two beginners kind of kick off next to each other, not really knowing what they're doing, then they rotate round and suddenly each one of them are learning. They could come back round in the circle and the same two people meet up again and they're already better dancers because they just were dancing with others.
100%. That's exactly
amazing.
Exactly. I mean, I've had plenty of people that come along and say, oh no, we want to dance just with each other. And I say that's totally fine. They dance just outside or just inside the circle. And 9 times out of about 9.5, within 20 minutes, they're in the circle.
Yeah. We don't want to be left out. We want to join in.
No, that's right. That's
right.
Look,
it's one of those things. I can imagine. You've been with your wife now for how many years?
I've been with Zoe now for 16 years.
16 years. Oh, so hang on a second, but you've been doing the dancing for 20 years. Did she come to the classes?
I started this business, before she came along. And she did come along as a student for a very short time. And then she soon became...
How did you guys meet?
So it's a long story. We actually danced competitively a lifetime ago, years ago, before we got together. She was competing and I was a judge. And I was judging her competing many, many years prior. And then we had a mutual friend and we reconnected about 10 years later. And then she started coming along to my classes. And then before too long, the rest is history.
Well done, you. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So, but anyway, when you're in a long-term relationship, things can ebb and flow between the two of you. That's just part and parcel of the long-term relationship. I mean, I was married for 33 years. Not now, but 33 years, but it ebbs and flows. And sometimes you feel like you need something to kind of get it going again. And so I guess coming to dance classes, you might think, oh, we'll dance together and it'll make us feel closer. But my view would be, and tell me if this you'd agree with this, is that although you might go thinking, well, if me and my wife dance together, then we'd feel closer and more connected. But actually, if you just go together and then have the same experience of dancing with a bunch of other people, then it's then afterwards, and you've got that energy from like other people, and then you start talking to each other. Go, oh my God, and I danced like that guy, and he bloody tread on my toes and did whatever. It's like, oh, what was she? I've seen her dance. How was she like? Oh, what was he like? And you kind of you've got something to now communicate over that's not just the relationship.
That's right. It's a shared experience, whether you're dancing just with your partner or she's in the circle with someone else. It's still a shared experience. Like you're going to a concert, you're both watching the same concert. You talk about it and reflect on it later, and then also you get home and you can practice your steps with your partner. So there's is
that cheating? Practicing outside the classes?
So there's that too. But what you're saying is exactly right. It's a shared experience on common ground. And in fact, I've found many times if people do want to dance just with their own partner, they end up bickering and arguing, and then it becomes quite a negative thing.
Yeah.
And then I say to them, jump in the circle. You're going to get people that are helping you out within the circle, and then come back together.
Yeah.
And that works sensationally well. So
yeah, because then because you're always thinking, oh, he can't, she can't do that, he can't do that, and you just kind of, and then you kind of have a bit of practice with other people, and you kind of, oh, no, I don't mind, this is all right, I'm getting, and then you go back together, oh, bloody hell, you've learned, it kind of, it opens your eyes to your own partner's capabilities.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and seeing that they can do, if she can do it with that guy, well, she better be able to do it with me as well. So you've got to step up.
And there's that little bit of competitive element as well, isn't there? It's like,
always,
because when you first start out, you almost have to win that person over. And there might be other people that are interested in that same person or whatever, and you've got to make sure that you put your best foot forward and win that person over. But then once you're in the relationship, that kind of, you don't need to try anymore, do you?
I think that's where a lot of people kind of maybe fall over, isn't it? Where they think, oh well, we're married now. She's been with me for 20 years.
Yeah, she's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. But it's amazing how we've seen people come together through their joy of dancing, even if it isn't with each other in the class for the whole night. It gives them such a common ground to get together, and they play the music on the way home, because I always give people, hints and tips of different songs they can dance to and that kind of thing. And it just gives them that common interest. I think when people are busy, I know myself, we've got 2 young kids, and
because how old are your kids now?
6 and 10.
6 and 10. Oh, amazing. Yeah. About to turn horrible, but amazing at the moment, 6 and 10.
It's just awesome. And I know that my wife and I, we're committed with our kids. We love our kids. We're not the kind of parents that, whinge about our bloody kids. We absolutely adore our kids, and, having time with our kids is our most treasured space. And, when you focus on that and focus on your family unit and, paying your mortgage and running your business and trying to keep healthy yourself, often the relationship with your partner gets prioritized down the list, and wrongly so, of course, but it's what happens for so many people. So doing something like dancing together is something that can just bring you back together. And even more so when it's new and exciting, it's just fantastic to be both learning. Like, I know I've been doing the same job now for 20 years. I'm kind of finding that I would really love to be learning something new. So I started doing some karate with my kids.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just dancing, isn't it? It's just steps.
It's very, very similar. But the good thing is, I get there and no one knows me. I don't care if it's too hot, too cold, too light, too dark, too fast, too slow. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm just a student. I can sit back on the other side of the fence, and it's just fascinating. Learning something new is a beautiful experience that, is really important for you individually. But when you're doing that with your partner, you're both learning something new together, and you're on the same plane. To enjoy that journey with someone is really, it's connecting.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And you're a very happy, content person. You've got.
I think so.
Well, I've known you for a little while now, but in terms of you love your job, you've got a great relationship. I know that your home is pretty decent as well.
Thank you.
But there's so much going on, and obviously you're fit and healthy because you're doing all these bloody dance classes. Do you actually dance much yourself though in the classes, or are you basically just stood around watching?
Yeah, for the classes, I'm in the sense of calling the moves. So when the song's playing, I'm calling the routine consistently. So I'm very busy calling, but not so much physically. For the social nights, I get up and have a dance. Not as much as I'd like to. I'm always busy, because I also look after the sound of the band. I'm always sort of mixing the sound and keeping an eye on that and seating allocations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. But you get it. You get up and have it. And Zoe goes along too as well, or she's got to look after the kids.
Yeah, for the socials, she gets along because she can leave, at 9 or 10 o'clock and get the kids home, at a reasonable time for a weekend. But during the weeknights, she's home with the
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah,
We don't want to have the kids out till 10 or 11 o'clock on a weeknight.
yeah.
So they have their normal nightly structure, and she's awesome at looking after all that.
So I was sort of mentally going around the kind of the Joya wheel of, you've got the career sorted out, relationships fine, home is good, your health is good, you're going to stay in good nick. You built your own tribe of feeling connected to your community. You can't help but feel connected to those people that keep coming along and doing the classes. Although karate is another interesting way of building a different community as well.
Yeah.
Your recreation is basically covered, although for you, your work is other people's recreation. What's your recreation?
That's a very good question, and that's something that I did struggle with for many years. I kind of felt, going back a stage, prior to kids, Zoe and I were teaching every class with each other, so our life was just one big party. She was a manager at Target. I was an accountant in a previous life while I was building up the business. Once the business got to a point where we could,
accountant, it makes so much sense. Yeah. I'm an accountant who loves to dance.
That's right. I'm a dancer who doesn't like to be an accountant.
Yeah, good call.
So as soon as we could go full time, we did, and we would teach every night of the week, and we'd run gigs on the weekends. But during the day, our life was our own. We could sleep in and go out for brunch and do stuff during the day, and work every night. But it wasn't work; it was fun. It was a party.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when we had kids, and Zoe was home with the kids, Daddy had to go to class. Daddy had to go dancing, and before long, Daddy had to go to work. So it did become work.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that
taking you away from the family.
That's right. I mean, I do love what I do, but I love being home with my kids as well. So
school holidays must be great.
School holidays are fantastic, yeah. And like even on a normal week basis, when the kids were not at school, life was great. I spent all day with the kids as babies and toddlers. I'd go to work, they'd be almost ready for bed anyway.
What time do classes start in the evening?
7 o'clock.
Oh, right. Wow. So you got the
6:30 now, but I mean, I need to get there about 5:30 to start set up and all that gear. But generally, when Daddy would go to work, the kids would start to go to bed. But now both kids are at school, and I'm teaching 4 or 5 nights a week and running gigs. I was finding that I'm not seeing much of them at all. I'd be able to pick them up from school, race home, and I'd be gone. So on a Monday to Friday basis, I might only see my kids for an hour or so, and I didn't want that. So I actually shuffled one of my classes from a nighttime session to a daytime session, and I thought that would be suicide. I thought no one's going to come dancing during the day, but I really wanted to have a chance.
Boomers, though, haven't you?
Well, that's the thing. It's amazing how many people are available during the day now. They either work from home, or they're early retired, or they've got flexible hours. And the daytime class, started low, 30, 35 people. It was just kind of covering costs, but I kind of had faith that it would work. And we've been going now for about 18 months during the day.
Yeah.
And that's built up to a kind of a regular 55, sometimes around 60. So it's starting to get to the point where it's becoming... it's replacing that evening that I'm now taking off and doing karate with the kids. So that was it was a really big call though for me because the classes were generally 4 nights a week, and that's the bread and butter of our family income. So to cut a quarter of that out was because the class was running really well. So to kind of shut that down was a big call, but big work-life call.
That's another reason why I know that you're a happy, content person, because if we just chase the money, it's not the same. Other areas of our lives will be affected. Yep. The question is, at what point is there enough money that things work? And obviously, we're working on investments and all that kind of stuff as well to try and bump your income or project your income out further into the future. But there's other ways of hitting the kind of long-term monetary goals besides flogging yourself and missing out. Because the kids, in another couple of years, your 10-year-old is just going to think you're some dickhead.
Yes, absolutely.
that lives in the house
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
we shouldn't say that, but that's what, they get to be teenagers, and when they're
yeah,
teenagers, they start to just resent everything whatever you think you're doing that's right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They will
yeah.
tell you
No,
it's wrong. Their friend's dad does this, or their friend's dad lets them do the other, and all of a
that's right.
sudden
Well, we're getting that already.
there's no way to win because there's always someone else someone else's dad is doing things differently,
Yeah,
and it will be determined as being better because
yeah,
it's like, oh,
yeah,
if only, yeah, well, my, Claire's dad, he's like this.
yeah, yeah,
It doesn't matter what it is. There's somebody going to be complaining about something. So you've only got these few years. To take the knock in income and spend that time with the kids, I think is fantastic. It's what makes for a happier life.
yeah. It certainly has for me. It was a very tough call. I've been,
I'm so
obviously,
glad you made it.
yeah. Well, you need to be driven to be able to kind of run your own business, as I'm sure you and a lot of
Yeah,
your community are fully aware of, and to kind of get that work-life balance it's a very easy conversation to have, but to actually put your
yeah,
hand up and yeah, take a hit on the money side of things, just have more time. Like, oh well, I can just have more time this Saturday. I'll make more of an effort, and I'll have more time then, and I can still do the Thursday, and everything's fine. It doesn't work that way. You
yeah,
know, in the bigger picture, I had to look within, and I knew that I was feeling frustrated, and I was feeling like I wasn't having enough time with the kids. Then that was putting extra stress on my relationship because I was, you know, always prioritizing things
yeah,
in the wrong order, pretty
yeah, yeah,
much. And it's very easy to go, well, it's my job to be the provider, and I need to work as much as I can, and that's my job.
yeah.
But
I've been there,
God
done
has
that.
many parts of the wheel. It's not just about one section, and it's very easy in
And
this
the wheel,
world.
by the way, when you are the main provider, quickly breaks if you break. If you push
Absolutely,
yourself to
yeah,
breaking
yeah,
point, then
yeah,
then now that what happens to the main provider? You can't
yeah.
afford that kind of stuff.
That's right. Yeah,
You can't get yourself into a bad situation. And so anything you do to look after your own mental health is going to be a positive thing in the long run. It may
yeah,
not feel like it in the short run. But
yeah,
18 months in, your classes are up, so things are pretty good anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you get that Friday afternoon. But I was going to ask you before when you mentioned about the fact that you are free during the day. So how do you fill your days? What are you doing in the daytime now? Kids are at
Yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah. So there's a little bit of admin and behind the scenes stuff to do. Probably 1.5 days a week. I'm kind of on the computer doing the boring side of the business.
The accounts.
Um, yeah, yeah. And apart from that, Zoe and I get time to kind of where most couples have their evenings where they might watch a bit of telly or go out for dinner with friends or whatever. That's our time during the day. So we can go for a walk or go shopping or just do the things that most people would do in the evenings. We get to
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
during the day. Um,
Yeah,
Although it's
nice.
amazing how quickly 3 o'clock comes up for school pickup.
Yeah,
You can
right.
come there,
What
oh,
was it?
today we're going to do this, that, and the other, and before you know it, 3 o'clock, and you got to go
Yeah, yeah. Go fetch the
school pickup.
kids.
But yeah, no, during the day, Zoe and I have some really nice time, which is just for us, and we get to do things around the house or just do things for us, and that's really, really lovely.
Yeah, mate, I'm so pleased to hear. So nice chatting to you. I
Yeah,
really,
thank you. You too.
I think what you're doing is tremendous for your local community. The fact that you've built a community which helps other people connect with one another, that builds their relationship, that in itself is brilliant. But also the way that you live your life with purpose, where you're doing what you love to do, you're finding space for the kids, you're doing all the stuff that you need to do as well, so that you're I didn't ask you this, whether you did the scorecard that I sent you. Did you get a
I
chance to
did.
do?
I did do the scorecard. Yeah, yeah.
And did you come out in it quite strong in all areas, or did you find one or two weaker areas?
Yeah, no, I fared pretty well actually. I think it was a very nice rounded
Yeah, yeah.
view
I
of
thought that was going to be
every
the
aspect. Yeah,
just, and that's how I live my life too, and that's the what I'm trying to bring with Joya is like
yeah,
when you live a well-rounded life, you want to help other people do the same.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's
yeah,
what you're doing,
yeah.
and I really admire that. I think it's been so nice having you on. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for asking me. It's been great.
Well, that was number 6 of the Joy Life podcast with Jon, where we learned that you can do 25,000 steps in 3 hours just by dancing, as well as connecting to a community. I'm so happy. This is such a great episode. So grateful to Jon to be on the episode. And if you want to learn more, take the Joy Life scorecard for yourself. Find other community events or look up Alley Catz in Melbourne if you want to get into swing dancing and rock and roll. I think it's amazing what he's doing, and I'd love to see more of that in more areas of our lives. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.